Люлі, чужим діткам дулі-дулі.
Yesterday was a big day. And I don't want to go home yet. I want to celebrate. I got Leaf Global, good friends of mine. We got Nat Robinson, Tori Samples. Let's go.
Hey, Danelle, Jeff Mills, thanks for being on the show. Just some questions about the use cases. You know, I think that's really important and probably what a lot of those folks want to hear about, thinking about Stellar in particular. I own some Lumens in my own personal Coinbase account. I just think it's extremely interesting in terms of what it can facilitate relative to payment. So maybe walk us through some of the use cases for the folks out there.
Yeah, one of the most important things that I wanted to do today was sort of change the narrative, because there's so much always focus on what's the promise of blockchain, and we really wanted to be focused on what is actually happening today with respect to blockchain. And I highlighted three particular use cases. I think one of them that is active and available today is Leaf Global. Leaf is actually focused on refugees and on cross-border folks who have to cross the border with goods, and the ability to be able to put their money and their value into digital assets and to carry that across border where they're very, very vulnerable as they cross the border. It's a really important use case. Once they actually get across the border, they can then leverage those digital assets to make payments, to be able to pay any bills that they have, or to be able to send value and send money to others. So that particular wallet, Leaf Global, provides a really interesting use case that's really focused on problems that are focused locally in Africa, where their product is mostly used. So that is just one use case. There are others. I think, you know, Tala is one of the ones I talked about that's in development, and they're already due. They have credit that you can actually apply to get credit on Tala for these small micro loans, and they give you a response right away. So now they're moving in to be able to build some of this on Stellar so that they can use the Stellar assets and use stablecoins in particular to be able to provide these services to their consumers. So it's a pretty awesome, when you focus on the use cases and you talk about what's actually happening and and the value of blockchain, it makes it really hard to walk away from it.
Welcome. You know what? That was a very exciting day. And, you know, I remember yesterday seeing some of the people in the community say, man, she keeps talking about what's being built on Stellar. But, you know, the reality is there's a lot being built on Stellar. I've literally been doing 2 years of nonstop content of different people that are building on Stellar. And you know what? I'm so happy to hear Leaf Global be mentioned yesterday, because as I've never been shy about, I'm a huge supporter and fan of what you guys have been building from the very get-go. And so Tori Samples, Nat Robinson, welcome to the show. First of all, rewatching that clip of Danelle Dixon mentioning Leaf Global, your child basically, right? This is your baby being mentioned on CNBC. What was the feeling? What's your reaction? Please talk to us.
Super
Pretty
exciting. I
awesome.
mean, first of all, there's no way around that, right?
Yeah.
um, I want to first start by reading a portion of a text that my dad sent me this morning, which is in all caps. Danelle is very impressive. So I think we all came away with that feeling, and we were really happy to be included in it. Obviously, I mean, such an honor, just generally, and speaks to the importance of the work that we're doing. But to see that actually out there in the real world being talked about with policymakers and with anchors, TV hosts, all of that is great. Not because of the press for us necessarily, but just because it represents real progress in the crypto world and in the things that we're all out here trying to do every day.
Yeah. Nat, man, what was your reaction when you
Yeah,
saw that?
I was to say Danelle did a great job too, not only just for Stellar, but for the whole industry as a whole. I mean, just giving great use cases, examples. I mean, of course, we were honored to be featured alongside MoneyGram and Tala, two huge organizations, and
Right?
I'm excited to play our role as like this is actually happening, and we like the use case. We've been supportive of it, and we think it's pretty exciting and cool. It resonates well with regulators and all the markets that we're working in. So yeah, really honored to be part of it and fun to be on CNBC too. That was exciting.
Yeah, and that was my takeaway is that, yes, we're all members of the Stellar family, but I really felt connected and really cheered the whole entire industry as a whole. I think that if you've been an advocate of this space, you've been building in the space, putting your blood, sweat, and equity into it. We all know that we've been the outcast for many, many years. We've been the outsiders. We've been the crazy ones at the dinner table, talking to our families about this exciting new world. So it was exciting. I mean, in the Stellar Global chat room, we were cheering you guys on. Every time Danelle spoke, I mean, it was like we were watching a World Cup game. I mean, literally, you could hear the screams as she mentioned names and everything. It was really a lot of fun. So obviously, there's a lot of companies that are being built on Stellar right now, but she chose to mention Leaf Global. I want to give one of you guys or both the opportunity to share with perhaps even a newer audience today who Leaf Global is and how you got started. Why don't you just tell us a little background of what you guys are all about?
Sure, go for it, Terry.
All right. Well, as you heard Danelle say, Leaf is a global wallet built specifically for people crossing borders, people on the move, refugees, migrants, cross-border traders. We are live today in 3 countries in East Africa and quickly expanding. And with our wallet, people can safely store their money digitally on their phone or connected to their phone. They can send and receive with friends and family for free on Leaf, and they can cash in and cash out with local payment methods like mobile money in the markets that we're in today. And that's really important because that's what makes it usable for people that don't necessarily know what blockchain or crypto is. They have a basic phone. They don't even have a smartphone. They might have low financial and technical literacy, and that's not a problem for them accessing Leaf and the services that we provide.
Wow. That says a lot. Anything you want to add, Nat?
Yeah, throw in there too, and I think why Danelle was focusing on us is our big focus was on financial inclusion too, and helping refugees and migrants and those who can access bank accounts and formal financial services. And I think that was a big push with the hearing, is to see where blockchain and this new technology can help those who aren't able to access bank accounts. And I don't know if any of your listeners out there have been able to, when they're abroad, to try to set up a bank account. It's really hard, even if you do have all your documents. So imagine what it's like as a refugee with a refugee UNHCR ID to try to get a bank account. And I think that's what we're most excited about, is the ability to broaden financial services to a giant market around the world that can't get bank accounts. And I think that's what's been really exciting for us in our journey.
Yes, I mean Leaf is great, and what I love about it. Maybe we could talk a bit on this topic of the fact that you don't need a complicated, high-powered smartphone in order to access these services. Yeah, please, Nat, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you guys built that and the impact that it makes.
Yeah. Well, and that was really important for us in our market and our customer base, that don't also have access to smartphones, and but yet the mobile, just general mobile phone penetration is really high, and many of our customers are already using a system called USSD and a USSD technology that it's basically like a more secure text messaging service, and that is already being used by most of the telcos for services like mobile money. You might have heard of M-Pesa, and those are the on and off
Yes.
ramps that we're using for our wallet. And so what we've done is designed a similar USSD front end for our customer base to be able to do everything that they could do with mobile money, but do it across borders and across networks. And all those transactions are still posted to the Stellar blockchain. So that's been a real core innovation, I think, that sets us apart from other wallets in the market.
Now, another part of the story I think that's important is that, I mean, you guys aren't, corporate, some big corporate bank company. As you mentioned, there were some huge names mentioned, MoneyGram, which I thought was interesting. One of the senators mentioned that it transfers up to 20% of the GDP of some countries in and out of the countries. I thought that was fascinating. I didn't know those numbers, but I think that it's a good story to share for others that are thinking about building on the Stellar network. How you guys started and kind of your experience and I guess the ease of use of building on Stellar. As far as cost and whatnot, and then also the help that you've gotten from the community and clearly from the SDF as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've
Sure.
gotten a lot of help, especially from you too, Sam, and the rest of the Stellar community. And it's also a lot easier now than it was 3 years ago. Like we've come a long way with the community.
Now, you guys were also we have a Stellar Community Fund, which, just a couple months ago, you guys were recipients of. How was that experience? And perhaps can you share a little bit about that for those listening?
Absolutely. It's a really important part of the Stellar ecosystem and the Stellar family. I think that it's not just a top-down process of deciding who's going to get grants for building on the system. It's not exclusive. It's a very community-based thing. That's why it's called the Stellar Community Fund. And basically anybody can apply who's building on Stellar. And there's a panel process for selection. And then the community votes. And whatever share of that pool gets allocated to the winners of that. And we were fortunate enough to be one of the winners earlier this year and received a grant in Lumens and have been able to do some really cool things with that, which we've shared on other venues, but basically has allowed us to experiment in ways that we wouldn't have before, which has led to some really cool projects around NFTs and supporting refugee artists. I'm happy to share more about that if interested. But I think overall, I'd encourage that as an avenue to get involved in Stellar for anybody who is just learning about the system. I mean, go look at the existing projects that are out there. There's actually one round that's in voting right now. And you can see some of the cool things that people are building. It might spur some ideas within yourself and your company in order to help you build on Stellar.
Yes, and that's actually a perfect segue. Is since I first saw you guys, gosh, it might have been May. I want to say it was like May of this year.
Something like that.
Yeah, around May. A lot has changed. One of the exciting things that I saw is how you guys are working with artists. I just did an interview with Click Pesa. And Click Pesa was mentioning how there is a very vibrant art community in Africa. And you guys, if I'm not mistaken, have integrated some of that into your mission. So please, let me know, anyone open to the mic, share a little bit about this NFT collaboration you guys have on the way.
Yeah, Nat, you want to go ahead?
Definitely. Sure. No, this has been a fun one. It was an experiment that we had just to take advantage of this NFT craze and the market that's exploding globally. And we had some conversations with our customers who are refugees in Rwanda about creating some of their digital art and selling and see what happens. And we were able to find some very talented artists within our customer base. And during the Meridian conferences, Tori's panel announced and released some of that artwork on Lightment, and we're able to sell it and actually get some pretty good prices for our artists, and then send that money directly back to our Leaf, through our Leaf wallet, so then our customers can then use those funds in the market or cash it out. So as awesome way of generating income for our refugee customers, but also recognizing their work and their art at a global scale. So that's what we're really excited to continue to promote that.
Wow, wow, wow. That
And
is
I'll
exciting.
just add on that really quickly.
Please.
We're intending to continue the experiment in a couple different ways. So we're actually going to be working with JPEG DAO to support our refugee artists
Nice.
as part of their community, which is going to be really fun. And we've already had a lot of interest from other Leaf customers. Some are refugees, some are not. But all are using Leaf today in their daily lives and are very interested in putting their art out there, both kind of as digitized physical art and then truly digital art that is created more to look and feel like, what if we're calling it traditional NFTs at this point. So really excited to
Wow.
continue that trend and to get people money that really need it and allow them to use it in a really easy, flexible way through Leaf Wallet.
Wow,
Yeah, the
exciting.
art's great. I've bought a few. I have a couple of the NFTs, so I'd encourage everyone to take a look once we get it all listed.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm gonna have to. What I've learned on Lightment is that you have to be very flexible with your time and have your phone, your iPad, laptop ready, because once they hit, they're gone. And I'm looking at all of y'all out there watching right now. There's there's so many great art pieces that I miss out on because they go so fast. So I will be looking out for the next releases that you guys have. And this is what's really exciting about Stellar is that it's creating all these new forms of generating income. And so that's exciting. One of the things that Danelle mentioned, and I wanted to talk on briefly, is the need for this sort of technology. This is not just a simple, cool, piece of tech to use, the next fad. Like, this is really making an impact. For those that may be listening in the States, other developed countries, what are some of the challenges that you all saw from the ground level that led to the decision of creating Leaf Global?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big question. And I think that the big one we saw, certainly globally in our markets, is that you've got refugee community or family that has cash, that has resources, and then they have to pick up and leave and cross the border and carry cash, and that's dangerous. They get robbed, they get taken advantage of, and there's no solution available for them. Yet there's all these great innovations in fintech out there that we wanted to experiment with and try to see if there's got to be a way to address this problem. So that was the big one, was carrying cash across borders, and then just working with banks and the technology that's available. It's real cumbersome, it's slow. Even some of the money transfer companies are take forever and expensive. And again, people are still carrying cash or lining up to pick up cash at points. And that could be real dangerous and real risky. But that's where we saw a lot of the pain points in our markets.
That's great. That's great.
And
So go ahead.
I was going to say, it's one of the reasons that Stellar was such a good fit for us at the beginning, because we saw that vulnerability and we knew at that point that we wanted to do something innovative, but at the same time, we couldn't work around the existing financial system. It wasn't crypto disruption and that we were going to bring in new assets and go around the powers that be. Our customers were already vulnerable, and it is our job to not make them more vulnerable by introducing a new technology like blockchain or like digital assets into their lives. So I think that really got picked up at the hearing yesterday, and some of the, what we saw yesterday was a good start. All we can hope for is a nuanced treatment of this issue, and for the representatives to continue to listen to experts like Danelle and the others that were there yesterday. But that vulnerability and finding ways to pair innovation with the existing system, I think, is what's going to allow others to move into the space and do things like we have done and create impact all over the world.
I think you wrapped it up very, very well, very well. So, moving forward, how can, like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of folks that are listening to this show, definitely listening yesterday. That's a much bigger platform than here, that now know about Leaf Global, and they want to find out more. They want to help, maybe. They might want to help with funding. Who knows? What is the best way to get in contact with Leaf Global and try to go forward with you guys?
I think we're pretty easy to find, right?
We're available.
Twitter, LinkedIn, yep, exactly. Ask Sam. Yeah, we're happy. Love talking to anyone. Love being part of the community. Giving back however we can help. And of course, yeah, we're small, we're growing, need all the help we can get. But excited about the NFTs too. That's an easy one for a lot of people to get involved in. But yeah, reach out.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely. So Twitter, website, email, we're out there, and we always welcome anybody. If you want to see what we're doing, come on over, please.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. This was really spur of the moment for y'all, you guys listening in. I mean, I reached out to Tori early this morning, Eastern time, and was just like, hey, people want to hear about you guys. I mean, all yesterday, people were asking about Leaf Global. They were going back to the old interviews. And so I said, well, let me see if I can get them on. And I was just happy for you guys to jump on today with us. So to everyone listening in, thank you for joining. Tori, Nat, best of luck with everything. Please continue to keep the Stellar community, updated. And we wish you the best of luck. We're excited for your success.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks for having us back. Glad this worked
Absolutely.
out. Yep.
All right, you guys hang on for a couple minutes. Everyone listening, Monday we are actually going to have another Twitter space. I'm going to put it out there later today. But 4:00, one of the biggest things going on right now are AMMs, liquidity pools on the Stellar DEX. And it's opening a lot of opportunities. And so we're going to have an open conversation. I know that I've confirmed Aqua. I've confirmed LumenSwap. I've confirmed YBX. And of course, our favorite trader, Anthony Barker, is going to be there as well. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be Twitter Spaces. It's going to be open for the entire community and beyond, 4 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Other than that, you guys hang on for a couple seconds. Take care, everybody. Bye.